Hey everybody, it's Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. It is November now, and right when the calendar flips, we get our first legit chance, albeit light, snow chances for the North Carolina mountains. Now, before you get too excited, snow lovers, this does not look to be a big event, but we do have the potential for our first snowflakes of the season in many locations of the mountains. I'll show you how this is going to unfold. The first part, I got to start with the temperatures because it is chilly. I mean, we got temperatures across a big chunk of the country right now basically below average for the first time in a long time. I'm going to turn some of the temperatures on here in a minute. And you can see, look at all the 30s and 20s. And this is just before noon Eastern time. So a lot of 40s and 50s way down to the Gulf Coast. So we're actually seeing some legitimate cold air, which is something we haven't had for most of this autumn. So now we're finally starting to see that cold air in place, and that's kind of setting the stage for what's going to be heading our way. You can see a little system passing to our north is producing a few stray showers and snow showers in the higher elevations, especially in West Virginia, but this is not the main system. It's this system out to the west that we're going to watch unfold over the next couple of days. So let me take off the surface fronts here. We're going to hide all these because I'm going to go into the future here, and we'll go through time and kind of show you how things unfold today. This little trough passes through today. But what this does, this helps reinforce the cold air before this system gets in from the west. So this is going to set the stage for a really raw, cold day on Thursday. And some of us are going to see snow above about 2,500 feet. Above 3,500 feet looks to be the best chances. But as we go through time, I'll show you how this unfolds. So tomorrow definitely starts to get cloudy late in the day, and probably a pretty chilly day. Temperatures struggle to even get into the low 60s. You could see going into tomorrow night, we start to see some snow showers developing in the North Carolina mountains tomorrow night. So this is moving a little quicker than last week. It looked like the system was going to be later in the week, but it's arriving basically late tomorrow night into Thursday. And you can see Thursday, 3 o'clock in the morning. Notice the higher elevations here where we're seeing snow. The valleys, it might be rain. Boone, probably going to be snow, but some of these areas towards the French Broad River Valley and over towards Coolowee and areas towards southwestern part of the state, unless you're up in elevation, you're probably just going to see good old-fashioned miserable cold rain, which is exactly what's going to be falling across the Piedmont. Just a heads up, I know we're talking these snow chances here, but we're probably talking 40s and rain across a big chunk of the Piedmont. So not the greatest weather. As we go into Thursday morning, the system's out of here pretty quickly. So this is moving really quickly. In fact, Thursday during the day, probably drizzly, misty day, socked in with clouds, fog, and drizzle most of the day. We're going to get that dreaded wedge set up, which is going to give us some really cold air. So let me show you what that's going to look like. All right, so let's show you just how chilly it's going to be. So these are the temperatures. This is today, obviously. You can see, we're kind of going to see some warmer temperatures move in from the southwest. These temperatures down here will be in the 60s to near 70, but look at that cold air settling in tonight and kind of pushing in from the northeast tomorrow during the day. I'm going to stop this at like the middle of the afternoon, and we'll just quickly show you. We'll be in the 50s tomorrow. It is going to be frigid in many locations. So this is pretty cold air for this time of the year. So really not the greatest weather tomorrow, but it gets worse because we've got that rain and cloud cover moving in as we go into tomorrow night into early on Thursday. I'm going to show you Thursday morning. So this is the good old fashioned wedge. I mean, this is, let me just go into the afternoon. We'll stop this around, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, if we're in the 50s, we're going to be lucky. I think we'll spend most of the day in the 30s and 40s. So just a miserable cold day on Thursday as we get this set up of just really cold air. And I'll go even into the future a little bit more and kind of show you how this cold air kind of settles in. And once it gets here in the Carolinas, it could be here for a while. In fact, we're probably going to see some of our first frost or freeze conditions, probably if not Thursday night, certainly Friday into Saturday, and then Saturday night into Sunday. So how much snow are we going to see? Well, let's take a quick look at that. All right, so this is a big caveat here, guys. We got to see how much is actually going to stick, but I'm going to go through time. I'll go through today. You can see a little bit of snow up in West Virginia. I did check the webcams up there towards Snowshoe. They are seeing some snow, but we'll go into tomorrow and tomorrow night. So we're going to zoom into the mountains here because we'll start to show you some of the areas. I'm going to stop this probably early in the morning on Wednesday. So this is basically Thursday morning, waking up Thursday morning. So if you're looking at the amounts, yeah, maybe an inch. That looks to be like Grandfather Mountain, maybe an inch. Mount Mitchell might be the hot spot, like an inch and a half. And then the Balsams down here, and then over towards the Smokies. Boone, maybe 3/10 of an inch. I think it's really going to be hit or miss. But if you zoom in here, you could see the ideas, right around probably Beach and Sugar, Grandfather Mountain, over to Blowing Rock, maybe. Blowing Rock's actually in a pretty good spot for this because we'll have a little bit of easterly upslope, I think, for a time period. And you could see that snow, it starts to melt pretty quickly here. So it's 1, maybe 2 inches at the highest elevations, but I would not count on a lot of this sticking. And you kind of see this is really hit or miss as we go into Thursday. So this is really primarily looks to be Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Of course, I'll be tracking it over the next couple of days. And just to give you another perspective on this, I always like to show the model blender just to show you it even has less snow in the mountains. So I would say a lot of this is going to be melting on contact, but there's probably going to be a lot of pictures and videos of it snowing at some point tomorrow night into early Thursday. Of course, I'll be tracking it, and we'll also have your winter forecast for the Southeast coming up Wednesday night. So a couple reasons to get excited for winter weather lovers, because we're getting a little bit of snow in the mountains and the winter forecast is coming up Wednesday night at 11.